Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Verification of notice, please.
This meeting is being held pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act of 1974, and all provisions of that act have been met with adequate notice of this meeting, having been published in the Township's two official newspapers on January 9th, 2022, published on the Township website, and posted on the official Township bulletin board.
Next, we have nothing under communication, so we move to the approval of minutes. We have the November 14th executive session minutes and the council meeting for November 14th also. If there are no questions or concerns on the minutes, could we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Mr. Brown. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Codiani. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Codiani?
Yes.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Next, we are moving on to ordinances. These are second reading and public hearings. So we'll take these one at a time, and we will only discuss these ordinances at this time. Public comments will be after these ordinances. So first ordinance is ordinance 2022-17, amending and supplementing chapter 216 of the Township Code. Josh, you wanna give a little clarification?
Yeah, this is in accordance with the new state regulations. The township needs to ensure that every rental unit in the township is inspected for lead-based paint hazards. When a tenant turns over, tenant turnover.
All right, thank you. So we'll open this up to the public. We'll start with the first row, and for this ordinance and this ordinance only. Second row, third row, fourth row. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing for ordinance 2022-17, bring it up to council for consideration. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Mr. Brown. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Codiani. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Codiani?
Yes.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion. Next, we have ordinance 2022-18, it's amending chapter 96 entitled Construction Code Uniform, subchapter 96-4 entitled Construction Permit Fees, Refunds, Prototype Processing, and of the code of the township. Josh, again, a little explanation to the public, please.
This order is being done mainly to update the language to be in accordance with state law, updating the chimney liner permit and solar panel information with the appropriate fees.
Thank you, sir. Again, we'll open this ordinance up to public for questions, concerns. First row. Seeing none. Second row. Third row. Fourth row. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing on ordinance 2022-18. Bring it back up to council for consideration. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Mr. Brown. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Codiani. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Codiani?
Yes.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Next, we have matters to be presented by the public. Members of the public are invited to submit comments during the public comment portion of this meeting. The council, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, will not publicly discuss personnel matters and may choose not to respond to comments made by members of the public during this portion of the meeting. However, the council will give all comments appropriate consideration and refer all individual complaints to the township manager or appropriate township representative for resolution. Each citizen will be allotted up to 3 minutes to speak in order to allow everyone an opportunity to express their opinions or concerns. We'll start with the first row. Please, first name and address for the record, please.
My name is Louis Lopez, address 98 Lewis Drive, Mount Holly, New Jersey. I want to give thanks to Mr. Jason Tinker for the picture how much she liked that. She
Very
had to
nice
leave
seeing
as
you
soon as the trailer like it was getting too cold for her, but she loved it and loved the picture of you.
Thank you.
And I want to give it to Coriana. You did an amazing job for all these years, living. I appreciate for all you things you did for Mount Holly Township. And second is Resolution E and F. Yeah, can you clarify that too?
Josh? E 2022-132.
E is just a payment in lieu of taxes, so this is the pilot agreement for the redevelopment project located at 101 Washington and 14 King Street. F would be the actual approvement of the plan for the redevelopment. This would be the township supporting any agreement for the plan to redevelop that area.
And I got 2 more a concern or question. What's the status? It used to be the Bank of America of that building.
Waiting on grants.
Say that? Can you repeat
So
that?
waiting on grants.
Oh, well, grants. And one more thing, any update on the last meeting for the OEM respond? Any update? OEM respond?
I'd email council the update.
Okay, thank you.
Second, Ralph. Yes.
Eddie Jean Kessler, 418 Langstaff Avenue, Mount Holly, New Jersey. I'm trying to follow up on the tree branches and when they're going to be trimmed that are pushing down on the power lines. This is the third time I've been to this council regarding this situation. It is a Mount Holly tree. It is a nuisance tree. It is a dangerous fire hazard to people's homes because those wires are severely stressed. It is a liability of the township and it needs to be taken care of. I shouldn't have to keep coming here and requesting this to be done. Did you follow up with Verizon and
Yes.
the Verizon tech?
Yes. Communication with Verizon has been, and as far as I can see, they are going to be inspecting the wires, and that has not been completed as of yet.
Correct, because I've been home and waiting.
I'm just letting you know the information that you asked if we followed up, we did.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyone else in that row? Seeing none, we'll move to the third row.
Michael Rothmel, 33 Union Street in Mount Holly. First couple questions on the consent agenda. I saw one where the employees' health insurance is being terminated. Is there gonna be new health insurance for the employees? That's
We're passing a
130,
resolution to
135.
terminate the state plan. We haven't made a determination yet on whether we're gonna leave the state plan. That's still in negotiations and speaking with our unions and our employees. But this is just being done just in case we want to.
Oh, so it's not, you're not leaving it, you're just authorizing?
We're authorizing in case we want to leave it, because they had to give 60 days notice, so in order for us to give the proper notice, if we wanted to do it before the end of the year, we need to pass
So
it.
you're not gonna leave the employees without health insurance?
No.
Okay, okay. And then with regard to this redevelopment, that's Bill Bargain from the parking lot.
Correct.
Across, and then, so a couple things. It says 10 commercial units and 7 flex space units. What are the flex space units envisioned to be?
Different type of retail. If there's just different type of retail.
Retail. And, it indicated the pilot was attached, but it wasn't to the resolution. What are the terms of the pilot?
Thank you, Mayor. So Mr. Rothmill, the pilot is designed, right now, the township is receiving X number of dollars per year. And a little more in depth than just the dollars, because there's a major obligation on the redevelopers part to make sure that property's clean. And the redeveloper has to weave through the responsible parties that are responsible for cleaning that.
Ball bearing, was it a ball bearing plan or something like that?
Well, there's lifts in the ground there. There was, I think it was previously an auto dealership.
Okay.
Right, so there's that waste associated with that. So, right now, the goal, once the property is turned over, is to maintain that stream of revenue that we're getting right now, from the current tenant, and then work up from there ultimately to, an 80% of assessment ratio for a period of time. But the nice part about this is we're gonna put a quality rateable back on the books.
And how long is the period of time for the up till it gets to for 80?
We're looking at perhaps a 10-year period.
10 years?
Yeah.
And so is it 80% for 10 years, or is it like graduated?
It's a blend, Mike, that's because of the dollars that are going in, it's gonna graduate over that period of time.
Okay, and then will it ever get to 100%?
From your lips to God's ears, we hope we get there, yes.
And then, does that include the 50-foot buffer along the Rancocas that's required in any redevelopment?
That I'm gonna defer on that. I don't know that specific
Because I
answer.
know if there's new development, they have to have a 50-foot buffer.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, on the backside there.
By Phil's, yeah.
Yes, that will be preserved and
And
protected.
they can still put 10 units in and 7 units in?
Yes, because they still have to go to DEP for all their necessary permits and approvals, and the department is well aware of the environmental sensitivity of the creek there.
Okay. And then, I guess one other thing I wanna discuss, although it's not before the township, several people here on the planning board, and I guess next week there's gonna be a GBH hearing is going to be next week before the planning board. And I just wanna,
That's not on the planning board.
that's not on the planning board agenda for December?
No.
Oh, okay. Because there's a lot of concerns there. Just, you know, China wouldn't accept their waste, and they wanna put it here in Mount Holly, so before any variances are done, they should be looked at closely. And also the area is an overburdened community under the Environmental Justice Act, and adding more trucks and more pollution and more industry to an area already overburdened, where I heard there was already a game of chicken between a car and a Dean's truck on Shreve Street, but neither wanted to move. It's gonna be very dangerous, and especially because the prior report we had indicated that Rancocas was a jewel for recreation, and that's what we should use to drive our economy of Mount Holly. And when you add a industrial giant like that that's going to steal water for cooling into plastic, because they're gonna melt plastic and cool it, they're gonna have to get their water from somewhere. That's the opposite of what we want. We also have to worry about microplastic pollution from any waste they have going into the creek, which is right there. Plus their trucks on Shreve Street, which is definitely, I know there's some discussions about that, but it's definitely a street that's in danger of collapsing because of the weight of trucks. To add more trucks would be absurd, let alone also the noise as well. So when that comes before you, and when it comes before the planning board, for those of you on the planning board, I would ask that you give it serious scrutiny, because it shouldn't be in Mount Holly. We're not a third world country.
Thank you. Anyone else in the third row?
Richard Down, 232 Rutland Avenue. I also have some questions regarding this redevelopment over here on Washington, in the corner of King Street. I'm reading it's a pilot. This is not this is a for-profit company, yes? It's not a nonprofit. Am I correct? Star and Urban Renewal is a LLC, is it profit or nonprofit?
To the best of my knowledge, it's a for-profit.
It's for-profit. So it's not a tax abatement, it's an actual pilot that you've worked out for a for-profit company, is that correct? So we are now, a for-profit company can now come in and negotiate what property taxes they're gonna pay with the township for X amount of time, is that what we're saying here?
When you say, now we're going to?
Yeah, because we didn't.
Now we're going to.
Right.
I think what you're missing, and I think you've missed, in my discussion with Mr. Rothermill, is you're conveniently forgetting and taking out of the equation the dollars that the redeveloper is gonna put in to bring a property that basically is worthless, right? Worthless for $1, and bring it back on the tax rolls. So does that have value?
Well, I could have more familiarity with this piece of property than I do, actually. I was there when it got torn down. I know it's brownfield.
Right.
We had about $1 that was gonna come in.
Right.
We couldn't get that in.
I can't comment on
So the value
that.
of the property, I probably have more historical knowledge with it than you do. Matter of fact, more institutional knowledge than anyone in this room.
Granted.
So, we can bring in the paperwork if you want, we can, go over
Right.
what the value of that property is.
Right.
The township's owned it for an awful long time. There was at one point where the insurance company, we were looking at Miller Ford's old insurance company, which was Wings, it was big in that, apparently that faded. But, certainly for the amount of time that I was on this council, and for all the time, back to 1992, that I was active in this township, I have not seen a pilot given to a for-profit company. If you can give me some past practice on that, maybe in the last 6, maybe 8 years since I stepped away when I had some health reasons, which I don't have anymore.
Right.
And, so I'd like to see, I'd like you to cite any past practice where we were given pilots for nonprofit, for anything other than nonprofit companies. Now, that's one thing. The other thing is, it is written in 100% that this developer is taking care of the contamination on that site, yeah?
That's correct.
So the township's not picking up any of that, no grants are being used, it's all on the redevelopment.
Correct again.
Correct. Now, is the build out is the development gonna follow whatever master plan happens to be in place right now?
Correct.
So it's gonna have set that off of the street, or we're gonna be building it to keep in line with the rest of the buildings in the house?
I'm gonna meet all of the current zoning standards for the
So
township.
nothing's adjusted, it wasn't adjusted to bring it into conformity with the already permanent, structures on the block. So it's
Correct.
gonna be a back set, and you're gonna have front load parking on it,
Coming before the planning board.
coming before. Okay, I just wanted to confirm out, because I'm also seeing these pilots on the signs for the new development. And I just want some clarity that the township is now working out pilots instead of using the 5-year property tax abatement now for new developments going forward. And I guess that's it for now.
Thank you. Anyone else in that row?
I just wanted to acknowledge,
Can we have your
Name and address.
oh, sorry, Holly
That's okay.
Doyle, 11 Washington Street. I just wanted to acknowledge, the organizations that were involved. We had 2 big holiday events here in town. And, Rich DeFalco and his committee put together the, Christmas tree lighting and the parade. And many of the local organizations were involved in participating. And it was just great to see so many people out and about and enjoying everything that happened. And also, on Saturday, the Main Street on Holly had a holiday home tour, and it was really well attended, and Jackie DiCarlo organized a great event. The Chin Curtis Log Cabin was included in it, and we were excited to be involved. And it was our first time being involved in that. And we had a lot of people come to the cabin that didn't even know the cabin was there. So in addition to bringing attention to our town, it also brought attention to the history in our town. So I just wanted to say, they all did a great job, and it was great to see everybody accolading our town.
Yes. It was good. Excellent.
Thank you. Anyone else in that row?
Yeah, Kim Burkus, 29 Hillside Road. Just a few things. I wanted to echo, I thought the tree lighting was fantastic. It was as good or better than it's ever been. It was really obviously well attended. So thanks for your support of that event. And it was, again, great to see a lot of different organizations in town coming together to pull off something really big like that. So thanks, and kudos to all the organizations involved. I want to thank Jim Codiani for all of the work that he's done over the past few years. We've been really lucky to have you. We're going to miss you. Especially thank you for reaching out to Main Street and being a great liaison for us. I'm very appreciative of that. I know that is not easy, and I'm very appreciative of that. And then I wanted to say yes to also echo the other event that we had, the Holiday House Tour. We had over 750 people participate, which is insane. Yeah, it was really successful. Again, kudos to all, there's some of the historical sites, churches, people opening up their own home for that many people to come traipsing through and checking out the beautiful decorations. So kudos to the organization for that as well. And happy holidays.
Thank you. Anyone else in the third row? Seeing none, we move back to the last row.
How you doing? I'm John Anderson. I'm the kayak delivery at 25B Church Street. I wanted to thank the Township Council for basically help for the last 3 years of giving business in Mount Holly to get through the monstrosity of COVID. In that process, I was able to get to the National Archives, and I've got some information I'd like to share with the Township at a future date and time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else in the fourth row?
Beverly Sweeney, I live at 19 Washington Street, and I just wanted to ask again about possibly regrading the walkway across in front of the post office, because every time the trucks hit it coming from this direction, from the west side, it hit it very hard and it shakes the buildings. It's not only the trucks, but it's also the buses.
We currently have a tap ran out and an application process, so we're just waiting to hear back whether we get it.
Okay, thank you.
I shake from that too.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Arlene Pfeiffer, 494 Mary Street. This goes back to things with the creek and seeing what's going on with this pilot program. I'm concerned about the brownfields that we're talking about and the company that's going to supposedly clean it up, which is probably more like something just being capped and encapsulating it. What I'm concerned about is the damage that's gonna happen to the creek, because we have the turbine loft that built a 3rd story on top of an old factory, but nothing's being put back towards the creek. We have all these contractors that wanna come and build, but what are they doing for the township other than they're gonna enhance those properties? Nothing's happening. There's nothing happening with the creek other than volunteers, and it's filling in. It's getting disgusting. I mean, we're continually cleaning it out, and it's getting a lot just for the volunteers. And I really think for all of these companies that want to come in here and build here, there really should be something that, hey, you're going to put something back to our community, because the people have been paying taxes for, 55, 60 years, are still not seeing the gardens done. Now we're going to get a pilot program. It's concerning that how much we've 10,000, roughly 10,000 residents, but the taxes, I feel, for a 2x2 square mile town is getting a little crazy.
Yep,
But
they
I
just
mean,
upped
and
them
I
again.
understand it's hard with everything we're doing. We're doing a lot of things, but I just think developers, everybody that's coming in here, should be putting towards more things towards the residents and making Mount Holly even better than what those of us that do live here and know all of the great attributes we have.
Thank you. Anyone else in the fourth row? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion for tonight. And come back up to council for the consent agenda. All items listed with the asterisk are considered routine by council and passed by one motion. Excuse me. Should a council member wish to discuss a consent agenda item separately, that item can be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence. Under the consent agenda tonight, we have resolution number 2022-128, authorizing a shared service agreement with Burlington County for an electronic speed limit sign on High Street. Resolution number 2022-129, endorsing an application to be made to the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission for a Class 5 dispensary license. Resolution number 2022-130, authorizing the execution of the contract extension between Mount Holly and America Emergency Squad. Resolution number 2022-131, authorizing the refund and cancellation of property taxes, block 122.05, lot 1-145, Hawthorne Drive. Resolution 2022-132, authorizing payment in lieu of tax pilot agreement for Star Urban Renewal LLC at block 38, lots 1 and 2. Resolution number 2022-133, a resolution designating Star Urban Renewal LLC as redeveloper to implement the redevelopment plan for single site redevelopment at block 38, lots 1 and 2. Resolution number 2022-134, authorizing the execution of redevelopment agreement with designated redeveloper Star Urban Renewal LLC for site redevelopment at 14 King Street, block 38, lot 1, and 101 Washington Street, block 38, lot 2. Resolution number 2022-135, resolution to terminate all participation under the SHB and SEHPBP, including prescription drug plan and or dental plan coverage. Resolution number 2022-136, budget transfer resolution. Resolution number 2022-137, authorizing the award of contract for the construction of electric vehicle supply service equipment installation at 23 Washington Ave. Approval of the bill list and the department head reports. Does anyone wish to have anything for the consent agenda pulled and voted on separately?
Yes.
Yes.
Try to make a motion.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to remove resolution 2022-132, 133, and 134, please.
All right. I have a first, do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All, or roll call,
Yeah.
please.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Codiani?
Yes.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
We're just
Wanna
voting
vote
on
on
to,
it?
to remove these and
Yes.
vote on them
Yes.
separately.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we'll take the consent agenda and I'm going to go just by the numbers this time. 128, 129, 130, 131, 135, 136, 137, the bill list and the department head reports as the consent agenda tonight. With that being said, is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Codiani?
Yes.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Alright, thank you.
First, resolution, number 2022-132. Is there a motion? I have a motion to approve by Mr. Brown. Do I have a second? Mr. Codiani with the second. Roll call, please. That's okay.
Mr. Brown?
Yep.
Mr. Codiani?
Yes.
Ms. Astor?
Abstain.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, we have resolution number 2022-133. Is there a motion for this resolution?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Mr. Brown. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Codiani with a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Codiani?
Yes.
Ms. Astor?
Abstain.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, we have resolution number 2022-134. Again, do I have a motion on this resolution?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Mr. Brown. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Codiani. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Codiani?
Yes.
Ms. Astor?
Abstain.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Thank you.
Matters be reported by the township manager.
I wish Jim the best of luck in your future appointments. It's been a pleasure working with you these past 4 years. You've always been a respectful council person, so I wish you the best. And Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Matters be represented by the township solicitor.
Nothing this evening, Mayor. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you. Matters be presented by council. We're going to start with Ms. Astor tonight. Mr. Codiani, you can finish up the meeting.
Yes, thank you for coming, and thank you for all the thoughtful comments. Sometimes when I listen to residents, it educates me and helps me to be a better council person. And thank you, Jim Codiani, for being a wonderful fellow council member. And I've only served up here for 1 year, but you just represent everything that is good about people in government, and I wish you the best in all of the future. You will miss you.
Thank you. Mr. Brown?
I wish everyone a happy holiday and a happy New Year.
Mr. Banks?
I'd like to thank Jim for his service as well. It's good knowing you for the past few years, and wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year as well, and look forward to seeing you guys in January.
And I will also thank you for all your work that you've done on the planning board and council, all the insight, your cleanups that everything that you've been a part of, coming out and supporting all the events and everything with your time on council. I appreciate it. Thank you. So you get to end the meeting tonight.
I also like to thank everyone I worked with. 4 years went by very quickly, and I feel privileged to meet as many people I did while serving council, and learning from everyone as well. So thank you, council, past and present. Thank you, Sherry, Josh, Tom, thank you guys, and then of course members of the public. Appreciate it. It truly amazes me how much energy people put into this town for all the events, for all the things going on, and just makes me feel like I only did a very small part of that, important part, but small part. So I thank you all, and have a happy holiday season.
With that, I'd like to, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I have a first, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you guys.